There are people who spend their entire lives feeling as if they are actors in a play where everyone else has the script except them. On the outside, they seem calm, capable, and completely ordinary, but inside, their minds are working 3 times harder just to fit in. For years, psychology believed that autism was easy to recognize. Today, we know there is a quieter and often invisible profile known as high-functioning or highly masked autism. These are individuals who, through constant effort and observation, have learned to hide their traits in order to survive in a world that was not built for them. If people have ever told you that you are too intense, overly strict with rules, or have unusual habits, this video is for you. We are going to explore 10 behaviors that may look like harmless quirks, but are actually neurological signs of a different kind of brain. Stay until number 1, because it is the most unusual, the most endearing, and the one almost no one admits out loud for fear of being judged. Let's begin with number 10, fake eye contact. We are taught that looking someone in the eyes is a sign of respect and attention. But for a neurodivergent brain, maintaining direct eye contact is not natural. It can feel intense, intrusive, and emotionally overwhelming. Neuroscience has shown that, in autistic brains, eye contact can activate the amygdala, the region involved in detecting potential threats. Because of this, holding someone's gaze may feel less like connection and more like confrontation. So, what do you do if you want to appear normal? You develop a clever and often unconscious strategy. You look at the person, but not directly into their eyes. Instead, you focus on their forehead, their mouth, or the most popular choice of all, their nose. Some people use another method. They look toward the face, but let their eyes soften and lose focus, as if they are looking through the person rather than at them. They do this because staring directly into someone's eyes can flood the brain with so much emotional information that it becomes difficult to process what is being said. In other words, they often feel they must choose. Either I look at you, or I understand you. And to navigate social situations successfully, many learn to pretend they were making eye contact. Number 9, auditory processing delay. You've probably experienced this before. Someone says something to you, and your immediate automatic response is, "What?" But half a second later, before the other person can even repeat the sentence, your brain suddenly decodes the sound and you answer the question. It's not that you're hard of hearing, and it's not that you're distracted. Your hearing works perfectly fine, but your processing system runs with a slight delay. The sound reaches your ears instantly, yet your brain needs a few extra moments to turn those sounds into meaningful words. It's like watching a movie where the subtitles are slightly out of sync. That what? Is your brain's way of buying time, a brief loading screen that gives your mind the extra seconds it needs to organize the information. If this happens to you every day, it's not a sign of poor attention. It's simply a difference in how your auditory cortex processes language in real time. Number 8, spatial dyspraxia, or what we could call Marcos's magnet effect. If you look at your legs or arms right now, there's a good chance you'll find a few bruises and have no idea where they came from. This happens because many people on the spectrum experience differences in proprioception. Proprioception is the sense that tells your brain where your body is in space without needing to look at it. When this system works differently, your internal body map can feel less precise. As a result, you may misjudge distances while moving around your home. You think you walked far enough from the doorway, yet your shoulder hits the frame. You bump into the same table corner that has been in the exact same place for years. Objects slip from your hands as if they were covered in soap. Most people call this clumsiness or absent-mindedness. But psychology has a name for it: dyspraxia. Your brain can become so focused on internal thoughts that coordinating movement takes a back seat, causing frequent collisions with the physical world. Number 7, texture hypersensitivity with food. This is not about being picky or difficult when eating. It is a physical reaction that feels impossible to control. For a neurotypical brain, eating is mainly about taste. For you, eating can be an intense sensory experience. Certain textures may be interpreted by your nervous system as uncomfortable, distressing, or even threatening. You may struggle with mixed foods. A smooth yogurt that suddenly contains chunks of fruit can be enough to trigger an immediate feeling of discomfort. That unexpected shift from soft to solid may feel overwhelming. You might also dislike foods touching each other on the plate. The mashed potatoes need to stay separate from the meat because once the textures blend together, the meal may become impossible to enjoy. Many people also rely on safe foods, meals that always taste the same, have the same texture, and never bring surprises. If you eat the same foods for weeks, it is not because you lack variety. It is because predictability brings comfort and stability to your sensory system. Number 6. Walking on tiptoes. This is one of the oldest and most recognizable traits. You may have done it as a child, but there is a good chance you still do it as an adult when walking barefoot at home. Moving with the front part of the foot while keeping the heel off the ground is known as toe walking, and there are two fascinating reasons behind it. The first is sensory. The heel absorbs a great deal of impact. By avoiding that contact with the floor, you reduce the vibrations traveling through your legs, which can feel more comfortable if you are highly sensitive. The second reason involves the vestibular system. Walking this way tightens the calf muscles, sending deep pressure signals to the brain that can help you feel more grounded, balanced, and regulated. If you catch yourself climbing stairs on your toes, running that way, or quietly moving through the hallway as if you were sneaking around like a dinosaur, it is not just a habit. It may be your body naturally seeking comfort and regulation through movement. Number 5. Information dumping, or info dumping. Imagine this situation. Someone asks you a simple and friendly question out of courtesy, something like, "Do you like coffee?" Most people would answer, "Yes, I love it. I drink it every day." But your mind doesn't work that way. For you, that question instantly unlocks an enormous database of knowledge. If coffee happens to be one of your deep interests, you feel an almost irresistible urge to share everything you know. Before you realize it, you're giving a detailed explanation about where coffee beans come from, the ideal water temperature, the differences between medium and dark roasts, and the history of Italian coffee makers. You become excited, your voice gets faster, your energy rises, and you may not notice that the other person has already lost track of the conversation. This is known as info dumping. For many people on the spectrum, sharing information is not about showing off intelligence. It is a way of connecting with others. It is a form of affection. You share these facts because they matter to you, and you want to offer something meaningful to someone else. The challenge is that many people misunderstand this behavior and see it as arrogance, when in reality it is simply enthusiasm overflowing. Number 4. A strong sense of justice. This may have caused problems throughout your life. You have an internal radar for fairness and rules that is difficult to ignore. If you see someone cutting in line, throwing trash on the street, or lying about something small, you may feel a surprisingly intense frustration. It does not matter whether the situation affects you personally. What bothers you is that it feels wrong. The autistic mind often organizes the world through logical systems and patterns. When someone breaks an important social or ethical rule, it can feel as if they are disrupting the entire system. You may struggle with gray areas or so-called harmless lies. To you, the truth is simply the truth. This makes you an exceptionally loyal and honest person, but it can also be exhausting because the real world is often messy, inconsistent, and unfair, while your mind constantly seeks order and fairness. Number 3. Echolalia, or the mental DJ. Do you ever find yourself replaying movie quotes, funny sounds, Song lyrics or specific words over and over in your mind? Maybe someone says an interesting word, and you immediately repeat it under your breath. Maybe you spend days mentally replaying a line from a meme that made you laugh. This is called echolalia. It is not necessarily an obsession. It is often a form of self-stimulation. Your brain enjoys the sound, rhythm, or texture of certain words and phrases. Repeating them can feel calming, satisfying, or even help you focus. It is like having an internal DJ who keeps replaying the same audio clip because it creates a sense of comfort. If you have ever laughed to yourself while remembering a particular sound, or if you make clicking, humming, or whistling noises when concentrating, you may be using sound as a way to regulate your nervous system. Number 2, unusual sitting positions. If I asked you to sit in a chair the way most people do, with both feet flat on the floor and your back straight, how long could you stay that way before feeling uncomfortable? Probably not very long. Many neurodivergent people rarely sit in what others would call a typical position. You may feel the need to tuck one leg underneath you, sit on your feet, cross your legs in unusual ways, or do what some people call T-Rex hands, keeping your wrists bent close to your chest while resting. This is not simply bad posture. It is often your body searching for a sense of comfort and stability. Sitting in these positions creates pressure on your joints and muscles, sending signals of security and grounding to your brain. When your feet are hanging freely or your body lacks support, you may feel disconnected or unsettled. That extra pressure helps you feel more present, comfortable, and secure within yourself. Number 1, deep empathy for inanimate objects. This may be the most surprising trait and one that many people keep hidden because they feel embarrassed by it. Have you ever felt sorry for an object? Imagine you're shopping for apples and notice one that is bruised, unattractive, and left alone in the corner. You suddenly feel genuine sadness for it. You may think that if you do not choose it, nobody else will, so you buy it simply because you do not want it to be left behind. Or maybe you struggle to throw away an old shoebox because it served you well, and discarding it feels strangely disloyal. Perhaps you apologize when you bump into a table or arrange stuffed animals carefully so none of them seem left out. This is known as anthropomorphism, and it is often linked to heightened empathy in autistic individuals. Your capacity to care can be so strong that it extends beyond people and animals to objects themselves. It does not mean you believe these things are alive. It simply means your mind places very few limits on compassion. It is a beautiful quality, even if it can sometimes be painful. Contrary to the common myth that autistic people lack empathy, many experience empathy so intensely that they feel concern even for things that are not alive. If you recognized yourself in these examples, remember that there is nothing wrong with you. These traits are not flaws. They are signs of a different way of experiencing the world. For years, many people hide these habits in an effort to appear normal, and that can be exhausting. Understanding that these behaviors have a name and a reason is often the first step toward self-acceptance. Autism is not always visible, but it is often deeply felt. And if these experiences resonate with you, your feelings are valid. Think about which of these traits connected with you the most. Is there something you do that was not mentioned here? If this message helped you understand yourself a little better, share it with someone else. It may help another person realize that what they thought were strange habits are actually understandable responses from a remarkable brain. One important reminder: this content is educational and informational. It is not a medical diagnosis. It is simply a guide to help you better understand yourself. If you believe these traits significantly affect your life, consider speaking with a qualified mental health professional for a proper evaluation. Avoid self-diagnosis and seek reliable information.